Hi everyone and welcome back. So yesterday you should have completed with your group or individually the information about the different systems on the rocky planets. We are going to continue with that material, not today but tomorrow. But I want to go over something that you're going to need, which is how to respond to a scientific, how to make a scientific argument. So right now we're working on which planets will be habitable, or were at one point habitable, for life. So it goes without saying that scientists ask questions about the natural world. Even if it's not our particular world and outside of our world, it is about asking questions about what's going on. Why do things move the way they do? What causes substances to change? And why do different materials have different properties? So these are things that we ask, and this includes our question with which planets, or which of the rocky planets, were habitable. So we gather information, and scientists gather information in many different ways. Right here you see that they're all doing experiments and collecting data, but there are other ways, such as observations, photographs, videos, and even reading. So finding information from other scientists is actually information you can use during an argument. So a scientific argument begins with a question, which we have, and then has a claim that proposes an answer to the question. So the first letter of our CER, or scientific argument outline, CER, is it has to have a claim. This is just common sense that if someone asks you a question, you must give them an answer to make your point. And then there's evidence. Evidence is all of the information that you will have as fact, either from observation, either from a book, from a reading, from data, or a lab you've gotten. It could be any kind of evidence. The evidence just has to be the facts that you know to be true. And then the last part, which is the most important part, is the rationale. This is the reasoning. This is you convincing the other person or other people that what you're saying is true, or is the most correct version of this argument. Part of scientific arguing is not always necessarily being right, but trying to work out all the parts of a problem. So if you can explain why what you found is important and gives you the answer, it is important to clearly state that in your writing. So a scientific argument, again, question, claim. All basic things, with question, there's an answer. But you see the evidence is information that you found that can either support or go against the other answer. So this is an important idea. So sometimes your evidence doesn't necessarily support your answer, but proves why the other answer is wrong, therefore leaving your answer as the only option, which might actually become very handy for you if you're trying to prove which of the 4 planets were habitable. That would mean even if you can't prove that 1 is habitable, you can prove 3 are not habitable. That would leave your planet with the most likely to be the answer. So keep that in mind. It doesn't necessarily have to support your claim, but it can make the other claim seem less correct. And reasoning. Reasoning is what ties everything together. It is your point of view that explains how you are correct. So let's take a look about Coca-Cola. Just cola. How does drinking cola affect your health? The claim is that drinking cola is bad for your health. And the evidence is cola contains a caramel coloring ingredient called formel. Now, at first glance, this seems okay. But when you think about it, how do I know that formel is actually bad? Someone is just not just saying, oh, formel, hoping that you just don't know the answer or know anything about it, which is true for most things and how most people present information. So we have to look deeper into how we explain. And that part is this part with the arrow. And it's, why does this evidence matter? You need to provide information on why what you said, what evidence you presented is important. So let's go further with this. Cola contains formel. Formel is a food coloring that caused cancer in lab rats. Many things that are bad for rats are bad for other living things like humans. Therefore, drinking cola is bad for your health. So when we compare the two arguments, the first argument just gives me a fact, which is the evidence. However, we're looking for a more detailed explanation so that you can help the reader understand why you are correct and everything else is wrong. So, you're going to complete a CER, claim, evidence, reasoning. Claim being your answer, evidence being facts you found, and reasoning being your explanation on why, is Taylor Swift the greatest artist of all time? I have provided you with a document on Google that you will read the information and provide a CER that explains whether or not Taylor Swift is the greatest artist of all time.